is coming out now, and there are ample signs in the adverse event data being collected now that these products are not only immunomodulating the immune system and causing hyperinflammation. There are signs now that they are very negatively affecting CD8 T cell populations. Now, there are clear signs that are starting to originate that there's an immune deficiency syndrome coming about as a result of these products. Another thing that we're seeing in VAERS, for example, and in other adverse event data collection systems are cancers coming out of remission, and a lot of MDs are reporting this as well on the ground. And by the way, people, this has never, ever, ever happened before with any other vaccines, not on this scale, not even close. Another thing that's a very bad sign is the reemergence of what we call latent viral infections like herpes, talking about myocarditis now, which is the inflammation of the myocardium. The numbers are off the charts. And when I say that, I mean in the context of the past 30 years of data in VAERS. Well over 100,000 immunological adverse event reports. And this is just the domestic data set. So the point is it's a very respectable number, and it doesn't account for the underreporting factor. So we're seeing a lot of scary things in terms of immunological adverse events. We need more studies on this, but it's a very frightening thing that was found. There's also been some work that came out recently that shows deficiencies in the ability to repair double-stranded DNA breaks. And I'd like to point out that clinicians, doctors on the ground and nurse practitioners are also, I'm linked into lots of communities of doctors, and they're saying the same thing. They're seeing patients who have been in remission for cancer for a long time, suddenly their cancers are coming out of remission. So my opinion is that the injections are absolutely the worst thing you could do if you have an autoimmune condition, which is ironic because from what I hear, it's these vulnerable populations that they're trying to push this into the most. The elderly, people with multiple sclerosis, for example. Multiple sclerosis is a demyelinating disease, and it's been reported in VAERS a lot, in addition to other neurological / immunological disorders. So, well, I'm only looking at US data, so I can tell you what I'm seeing in the United States, and I am looking for, I'm not like, it sounds like that might create bias, but it's because I know that we are going to start seeing more adverse event reports in 5 to 11-year-olds because they started injecting them. So over 1 million 5 to 11-year-old children were injected after just 2 weeks in the United States. And so we're in the 100,000 children who've reported adverse events in that age group after 2 weeks with the underreporting factor. And what that means is that 1 in 10 kids had an adverse reaction. But that's not the craziest part. What I found when I looked at the difference between the injection date and the onset of the symptom that they succumbed to, in 82% of the reports, it was immediate. And these weren't anaphylactic reactions, people. So the summary is the children are reacting in some ways severely to the introduction of these products to their little bodies, which are in some cases haven't gone through puberty. Their brains haven't finished developing. Their immune systems are still being formed. Their hearts are still being, like, everything is still forming when you're that young. It's a very bad idea to introduce these products to them, in my opinion.